think these maybe were Democrats, but for me, they're a Republican. We built a lot of great buildings in this city with these people, and they've given me great support. They're really amazing.
All right, early this morning, former President Trump meeting with construction workers in New York City. And soon he's going to be back in the courtroom for day 7 of his New York trial.
And the stakes couldn't be higher in his federal election interference case as the Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments on presidential immunity.
That's right. We have live team coverage. We have Jonathan Turley. He's standing by. We have David Spunt, who is outside of the Supreme Court in D.C. We have Eric Shawn at the courthouse in New York City. But we're going to begin with Alexis McAdams, who just spoke to Donald Trump during that early morning stop. Hey, Alexis.
That's right. Good morning. It's been a busy day here, right, in Midtown Manhattan for the former president, Donald Trump, who's going to be shortly heading back to that courthouse where he's been for 7 days and counting. But before he goes back to court, he took a chance here to stop and talk to union workers and construction workers, really trying to gain traction here in deep blue New York, which he says he plans on changing to red. Watch. You're 10 points behind President Biden in New York. Do you think it's doable to win New York?
We're very close in New York, I understand, and we're leading in the country by a lot. Poll just came out a little while ago, as you saw yesterday, that we're up in every swing state and up by a lot in every swing state. So I think we're going to do very well, and we're going to make a play for New York.
Make a play for New York while he's here in court, right? Because if he has to be in a courtroom, they say, well, they're going to bring the campaign trail right here in the Big Apple to Donald Trump. So we spoke at that construction site, you guys, in Midtown before he heads to that courtroom. The former president joined by local union members, and the crowd was loud for 6 a.m. Supporters wanted to get a chance to talk about their ongoing projects here in New York and also quality of life issues they say they face on a daily basis. The Trump team tells me they are trying to connect with union workers here on the ground because they feel that those union workers feel left behind by President Joe Biden's failed economic policies and say the focus is on how Trump cares about the average American worker, and that they say President Biden's just not fighting for everyday Americans and workers who are paying more from everything at the pump to the grocery store and rent, you name it. So we can tell you back out here, we had a chance to check in with those construction workers and union members, and so did Brian Kilmeade. They had this to say. Watch.
I put out a poll in my union. President Trump is leading Joe Biden 3-1 on my presidential poll out of my 9,000 members right now. We are very tired of the situation with groceries, inflation, gas prices, illegal immigration, crime. We're living it every day in New York City.
And many of those people, you guys who are out here, are lifelong Democrats, like who you just heard from. That's not going to be the case, okay, for many of those construction workers. And that gives you a pulse on what average, everyday Americans are feeling. In terms of President Joe Biden, who just got a union endorsement yesterday in D.C., one of the things the president said about former President Trump is that he doesn't connect with blue-collar, average American workers. But we saw quite a different scene out here today in New York City.
I want to play that back again. Where was that?
In rent, you name it. So we can tell you back out here, we had a chance to check in with those construction workers and union members, and so did Brian Kilmeade. They had this to say. Watch.
I put out a poll in my union. President Trump is leading Joe Biden 3-1 on my.
That's all. That's all. That's the video. All right, I'm out. No, I'm joking. Amongst Democrats, well, I would assume there's a lot of Democrats in that union, right? Trump led 3-1. 3-1. Now, when you have a situation where Trump can walk into a place, I believe Trump lost New York by like 23, 24 points. I could be a little off on that, but I believe he lost by a significant amount, which is no surprise. It's New York. It's liberal New York. He's now almost in single digits. He's cut that in more than half. More than half. Now, if that shift is happening nationwide, it's over. It's over. What's the fat lady singing? right? You know, when something is, it's not over until the fat lady sings. I don't even know where'd that saying even come from anyway. But anyway, you guys know what I mean. Like, bro, she is singing. If that shift is happening nationwide, Democrats are in big trouble. I mean, I think they're already in big trouble, because check out this clip of Trump in New York, liberal New York, by the way. Check out his greeting. USA, 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 USA. Now, to my folks who have been blessed enough to be on this earth longer than I have you ever seen anything like this? Where a Republican or a Democrat walks into, you know, what would be perceived as hostile territory, right? Not physically, but, you know, people are typically against, you know, that political side of the aisle, and they receive cheers. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? Let me know in the comment section. This stuff is crazy. This is wild. Trump can walk into New York and receive chants like that. Whereas when Biden shows his face, he gets booed and heckled, even in his own hometown, which I showed you guys that video last week. Went to his own hometown and was booed. And then he complained because some kids were holding up signs and things, and people were holding up middle fingers saying F Joe Biden. Yeah, they're in trouble. They are in major trouble when you have a guy that can walk into what should be hostile territory for him, and he's getting chants of USA and we want Trump. I don't want to say it's over, but it's all but over, right? We're just waiting until November at that point. We're just waiting to make it official in November. And boy, let me tell y'all something. I cannot wait. Like I've said, and I'm going to say it again. The only thing that worries me is Republicans not showing up the way that we should. Because people have gotten too comfortable, right? It's the only thing that worries me. I know Democrats are going to pull some stunts. That's to be expected. That's common sense, right? They're not going to go down easy. They're going to go down kicking and screaming. What that is, I don't know yet, right? I don't have a clue. But please expect something to happen. Big or small, who knows? Maybe they cut the power, right? Maybe they create another hoax. I saw, as a matter of fact, someone, a leftist account on social media had posted something, a billboard in Michigan, right? That had this black rapper's face on it. And the billboard, it said, "Go back to Africa." And of course, some people on this leftist account were like, "Oh my goodness, this country's so terrible, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, here we go. Democrats planting the seeds, right? The seeds to sow division. So maybe that's what they try to do. Maybe they try to ratchet up the racism in this country, right? Maybe they try to create something like that where they're putting up billboards, which we need to be vigilant about that stuff. And, you know, these whole, what do you call those groups that like march around, carry the flags, and they're like Nazis or whatever? I think they're, you know, undercover agents, right? Because they're all covering their face, and some of them were like Trump, right? Oh, we want Trump. Maybe stuff like that starts popping up, you know, to try to scare people. Oh my goodness, Trump's a racist. See, these guys that support Trump, they're racist. You know, maybe stuff like that start. I don't know. What do you all think Democrats will try to do? Because they're going to do something. I will be shocked. I would be utterly shocked if Democrats to say, yeah, we lost this one. Trump has too big of a lead, which he actually does. I'm going to get into that one in another video, though. I would be shocked if Democrats just threw up their hands and said, you know what? He's got this one. We'll be back in 2028, though. So what do you guys think they're going to attempt? Let me know in the comment section, all right? And do you guys think that Trump can flip New York? I do. For the reasons that I stated, right? We've got evidence of Trump getting cheers in New York multiple times. This isn't the first video out of New York that I've made. You guys remember he was in Harlem, or people were getting interviewed in Harlem, and he went to Harlem, right? The bodega last week. That was last week. Plus there was an interview in Harlem. I really do think that he can flip New York, and the fact that he lost by, I believe it was like 24 points, and to have it down to 10, close to single digits, that's cutting more than half, right? Cutting more than half. So I do believe he can close that gap. And we saw someone like Lee Zeldin close the gap with a Democrat in Kathy Hochul. I believe Lee Zeldin lost by single digits. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe it was pretty close in relative terms for a Republican in New York. So I definitely think it's possible. Do I think it's likely? No, if I'm being completely honest, right? But at the end of the day, we don't need to win New York. And the fact that New York has shifted so drastically, I think says a lot. Because if that shift is happening nationwide, oh boy, it's going to get ugly for Democrats. Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.